This is the FCB Radio Network, home of the best personalities and where real talk lives. Online at fcbradio.com. FCB.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to a super special bonus edition of Just Listen to Yourself with Kira Davis. But today, it's not Just Listen to Yourself with Kira Davis. It's Just Listen to Yourself with Kira Davis and neighbors. This is our first live recording, and I'm here with a very special guest today. I decided that I needed to pull someone in, and I talk about my neighbors a lot on the show, as you guys know. Yeah, you can make some noise over there, Ryan. That's okay.
A lot of excitement. There's a lot of excitement here.
That voice you just heard is our very special guest. He's my neighbor from across the street, Jason. Jason, welcome to Just Listen to Yourself with Kira Davis.
Thank you. It's a true pleasure.
So
I've been looking forward to this for weeks.
A lot of people may be wondering, why on earth did Kira have her neighbor from across the street? Have you ever done a podcast before, Jason?
Never. This
why on earth
podcast
would I bring you into this podcast? But as you know, on this podcast, I like to think about things. I like to discuss different topics, and I love information, and I love critical thinking. And Jason is one of those guys that has a theory about everything. And so one night we were getting drunk, and I think we were talking. We weren't talking about aliens, but we were talking about something. And at some point, I was just like, why am I not recording this? The world needs to know Jason's theories on everything. And Jason, you have a theory on almost everything.
Everything.
Yeah. Was the election, was there fraud in this election?
1,000%.
Yeah.
Which is, technically you can't be above 100%, so it's kind of a saying, but
sure.
100%.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about orange juice?
It's fake. I hate to break that to everybody. Unless you actually squeeze it yourself or you go to the diner and pay $4.95, it's fake. It's water.
And I heard that you have a theory about dentists.
Also fake. Well, the theory's real. The dentists are fake. I advise you don't go.
Okay.
Also, do not, while you're doing that, brush your teeth with fluoride.
Oh, the fluoride's
it's the fluoride.
The fluoride is going to kill us.
Yeah. There's a lot.
That might actually be a separate episode because
I think so.
Because I would love to get your thoughts on chemtrails too at some point. But that's neither here nor there. Why don't we start at the start? That's what I like to do on this podcast. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jason.
Sure. So I am the old age of 36, mid-30s. Grew up in New York. Spent some years in the Midwest going to school. Met a lovely lady and came out to Southern California. Have 2 children, and I'm a philosopher, though I don't have a degree in philosophy.
No. Oh, you don't?
Yeah, no degree in philosophy, to be clear. Just a lot of ideas that are accurate and real.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you grow up in a household that was that talked about conspiracy theories? Like, are your parents kind of conspiracy theory people? Do they have weird beliefs about stuff, or are they pretty middle of the road?
No, that was discouraged. It was they encouraged us to watch TV.
Like any good parent.
Yes. Yeah. And we learned a lot there.
Great. Yes.
I pride myself. I have not read a book in about 15 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, just headlines.
There's a lot of people, there's a lot of people out there that would be afraid to admit that.
Yeah, no, I went through high school without reading a single book. Yeah. So we're just continuing what worked.
Okay.
And that got me B pluses, so why change it now?
Yeah. I want to take a minute to explain to the audience a little bit, describe where we are. We're in my neighbor's backyard. So we're not Jason. Jason's my neighbor from across the street. But my neighbor next door is Katie and Ryan, and we're in their backyard. Thank you, Katie and Ryan, for hosting us. Shot window. They're the shot window. They're the shot window people, and they have a lovely backyard, and they have this beautiful fireplace. Now, our homes do back up against a main street, so you may hear ambient noise or some cars going by, but that's because our first live audience is outside. We're being COVID responsible. Here. We're not crowding into a studio. Thank you. The applause. There's applause around here for we're such responsible people. So that's what you're going to hear throughout the podcast. But Jason, I wanted to talk to you about aliens. Now, I don't think we've really had a deep discussion about aliens before. We've broached the subject, and as usual, your thoughts on the issue I found to be very compelling. I have a huge fascination with alien conspiracy theories, the idea of aliens. I watch everything that has to do with like UFO sightings, and I listen to podcasts, and I don't know if I believe in alien life, but I'm just fascinated by how much it permeates our modern society. So I'll start with this question. Do you think that alien life exists?
Yeah, I think it's an easy question to answer. Of course it exists. I don't think I've met anybody that doesn't, existing on Earth is different than existing out there in outer space.
Right.
Right. To think that we're the only species, and even, animals and trees and other things don't exist on other planets is just absurd. And there's no evidence to say they don't exist.
But is there evidence to say they do?
Well, no, clearly not.
What, Katie?
We read about it today. There's lots of evidence. The government has tons of it.
Oh, we're going to get to that.
We're trusting the government on
Jason's
this one to
wife, Katie.
provide accurate information on things we should really fear. I get discouraged when I hear like a NASA scientist.
NASA. You know what NASA stands for? Never straight answer.
There we go. What's the extra A on the end? Never A straight. Oh,
answer,
there we go.
Yeah, there.
That works. They spend $1 billion to go to Mars to find a virus or a droplet of water, and they get all excited. These scientists are going nuts over a drop of water. It's like, well, if you found like Evian bottles there and LaCroix and vodka, I'd be really excited as well. Just a drop of water on Mars, that was $1 billion. I want to find it like a dinosaur.
You want something big.
Yeah.
Do you think that? Well, so just yesterday, the Perseverance landed on Mars, and I don't know if you've had a chance to look at some of the images that have been floating around, but it's pretty impressive. But now that we actually have eyes on Mars.
That was the Arizona desert. Just
that
to be
was
clear.
okay. I was just about to ask you.
The budget cuts under the Trump administration.
Now that we have
it took
video. Do you think, because it did look a lot like Earth, but what is your definition of alien life? Like, do you think that there's little green men out there somewhere, or that there's some kind of colony on Mars, or are you talking more like somewhere there's a microbe, somewhere there's a...
Absolutely. So we know the microbes are out there, but that, like, who gets excited over a microbe? There's a lot of microbes on this brick wall behind me.
Right. I mean, I was like, some people probably do get excited about microbes, like scientists and stuff.
A little too. Yeah. I absolutely believe there's people out there, like people that look like us. I actually don't think they're green, and they have, like eyeballs sticking out of their head, and they're shorter but bigger brains than us.
Yeah.
I think they look like us.
Okay.
They're out there. And, sometimes I feel like they're actually way behind us. We're the aliens. They're going to attack them for their resources.
Oh, now you're flipping the script, because the way we tell the alien story these days is that there's some higher intelligence out there. They're way more advanced than us, and they're observing us, and we're just these Neanderthals to them.
Yeah.
But you're flipping the script. You're saying it could be opposite.
I've seen a couple on the New York City subways.
Yes.
If you've ridden a train at 3 a.m. in Chicago or New York, you've seen an alien.
Sure. Dad joke. Dad joke.
No, there's a chance they are that, yes, this advanced thing, they're way smarter than us. They're a million years ahead of us. They come down and, they're going to, some people get molested. Other ones, get beamed up, end up in there. Other ones, they're coming for Earth.
Yeah.
I like to think it's the opposite. We're, the way human civilization has gone, we're probably attacking them.
Okay.
And they're still in the Bronze Age. They're 2,000 years behind us.
Right.
They just invented the wheel.
Right. Well, that's a good time to get rid of a competing civilization when they can't defend themselves.
Early on.
So I'm actually for this.
Yeah.
This plan. Do you think that we have been visited by aliens on Earth?
There's too much evidence out there to say we haven't. So they've absolutely been here. Pilots, I was looking into this, thousands of pilots have observed the, literally flying saucers.
Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this because the Pentagon released some of those tapes, right?
Yep.
Katie's nodding her head. She sent me like a dozen articles about the Pentagon.
You can't Photoshop this. I mean, half of them
stuff.
are Photoshopped. The other half are real.
A lot of it is like you do once you start doing your research on this subject is like, oh boy, that rabbit hole is really deep. But the Pentagon released some of their UFO footage. Some of it's pretty compelling. You know, it's pilots really being in awe of something that they're seeing on the radar, and then also the Pentagon has just last week released a 154-page document saying that admitting that they have been testing materials from UFO crash sites. And it's important to remember that when we say UFO, it doesn't necessarily mean a flying saucer. It just means an unidentified flying object.
Yep.
But so we have incidents like Roswell. You have stuff like Area 51. You have people who have claimed to see aliens. You have this footage from the Pentagon. And a lot of people feel like everything can be explained. Like if you dig deep enough, I think this is how I feel. I feel like if you dig deep enough, you can explain everything in a way that points to just earthly stuff. Do you agree with me or disagree?
Yeah, so I agree with you. Firstly, nobody's buying the weather balloon thing anymore. The government's used that.
Okay, I think it actually was officially declared a weather balloon.
So the first 17 times, it's a weather balloon. Time number 18, not buying that, government. I'm just telling you, I know they're listening, NASA and NSA. You can't keep on using weather balloons. I've actually never seen a weather balloon. I don't know. Are there that many weather balloons out there that are just dropping from the sky? Like, don't we have satellites now telling us the weather? We don't actually send up a balloon. It's not the 50s. You know, literally nobody uses weather balloons, but, you know, fourth grade science class. So calling every UFO weather balloon is, and those would be identifiable, right? Nobody's buying that. So they need a better story.
Sometimes they say
hide these things.
Sometimes they say what the pilots are seeing on the horizon is the moon or a star like Venus or Mars when it's bright.
Yeah. So you go back to the origin of a lot of these stories. In like the 60s, it's fascinating. Almost all the alien sightings were in trailer parks.
Yes.
And there was a lot of peyote and other drugs going around. And you wonder, are the aliens targeting these people because they're on drugs? Or are they imagining it because they're on drugs? We don't know. You know, maybe that's their target. They're like, nobody will believe them. Because they're on drugs.
Well, maybe. So this is a theory. Okay, so maybe the aliens target these people because they can easily discredit them.
Yes. But,
so the aliens have like a PR department as well.
Well, they're smart, right?
Right.
If they made it here from their million light years away, they're smart. A lot of the videos I saw online of, alleged UFOs, they're quite small. And I'm going, you spent 1 million light years on that thing?
Yeah.
You would think it's a huge mothership. Like, it better be the size of a city.
That's what I want to see.
If it's the size of a house and, you just spent 1 million years on that, that's going to be pretty cramped.
That's what I want to see. I want to see a big, I don't want some little, like, do you ever see that movie Contact?
Yes.
Yeah, I hated that. I was really very disappointed by it. I don't want to see some that's all in your mind thing. Show me a flying saucer.
Yes.
Show me proof. Land in my yard.
It has to be larger to make its way across the universe.
We've got a question from the audience.
Oh, I was just going to say, we read today about that asteroid that went through the solar system.
Yes.
In it, that they think is a mothership of something.
Yes, it looks like a giant ship. Yes, the Japanese, I believe, have been questioning whether or not that's really an asteroid. But if it is a ship, I mean, where is it going, and why didn't it at least stop by to stay? Hello, because they don't want to deal with us.
Well,
I don't know, but I guess this leads me to my other thing, which is like the type of people that have alien experiences, right?
Yes.
You're right. Like whenever you dig into the people who are having abduction experiences, I mean, it's never some professor from Harvard. It is always somebody who lives in a trailer park. No offense to my listeners who live in trailer parks. Yeah. I'm sure they're great places, but they're all beautiful. Know your neighbors. Sorry, Ryan. Are you trailer trash?
Yeah. No.
Oh.
It's.
Oh, I'm fine.
There's beautiful.
Oh, this is my first. I just learned something new about my neighbors. I did not know you were trailer trash, Ryan. Nice.
It's double what?
So many things make sense. Oh, we're among royalty.
But
Yeah.
was it a trailer park in California?
Yes, California,
It was
like
expensive.
Yuba City.
It was
Yeah, yeah.
expensive trailer park.
That's $1 million property. That is $1 million house.
But it is always so.
So
So I when I was dating Mark, my husband, say hi, Mark.
Hello.
When I was dating Mark in college, he used to be a DJ, and he was DJing at some bar like 45 minutes to an hour away, and he arranged for me to get a ride with his friend because he had to go early, so he arranged for me to get a ride with his friend Scott. And so I'm a little girl. I'm just naive and innocent. I am 19 years old and don't know anything about anything. And Scott's a grown man, and we're in this car, and he starts telling me about the time that he had an alien experience. And all of a sudden he starts telling me this long story about how he was experimenting with different beats, and then he could look out of his window on the horizon, and he saw like lights on the horizon, and they were like getting closer, and then so he recorded those beats, and then when he played them in the car, he noticed like a light, almost like a spacecraft, but it was like a light, an orb, and it was following him in his whole drive. And he was saying like, I really think that it's the beats, like I think that the aliens are attracted to like the
His beats.
vibes,
Yeah.
and that
he was communicating.
there's only a few people on Earth like me who can make these vibes, these sounds to attract the aliens. I was so scared, Mark. I was so scared. I would.
Close Encounters or
Yeah, he was like, I really think like, but this is more how he's talking. He's like, I really think like, man, we're just on, it's like some of us, we can hone into like that alien vibe, right? Like they feel our vibrations, and that's why I think that they're going to come and connect with artists first. And that's my experience with the type of person who would have an alien encounter. Why do you think that it is guys like Scott or people like the lovely people Ryan might have grown up with, and not the Harvard professors or your dentist?
Yeah, I mean,
who's fake anyway?
So,
do you have any theories on that?
Yeah, of course. Okay, so I think they would target, if they came here, people that they knew would be basically not believed, right? Because there's this assumption that aliens don't want to, they don't want a big PR thing, and they don't want to be in the front page of the New York Times, so they're going to do this discreetly. It's always in the middle of the night. It's never daylight, right? These sightings, even by the pilots, when they see it, and so they're probably out there targeting groups. I think the group that they haven't targeted that I'm a little disappointed about is prisoners, because if they had all these prisoner abductions, and the prisoners were like, in the middle of the night, we're leaving the prison, right? We're on alien ships partying, and then we're beamed back down. Nobody would believe them. Like, that is actually a group of people that they could target basically without any
But
issues
why
on
aren't they targeting, like, why wouldn't they target, like, black people? In this country, we've done terrible things in the black community with experimentation because nobody cared about what black people thought, and nobody would believe them. Or why don't they target, like, teenage girls? No one believes teenage girls about anything. But it's like trailer park people, and then people like my husband's friend Scott, who do copious amounts of drugs.
Yeah. Although it sounds like the aliens might have really liked his tracks, and that could have been on their greatest hits. You need some good music if you're going to fly across the universe.
Maybe that's what we've been doing wrong.
So if we go even further back, right? The alien crave was like the 60s, but even further, before we were flying in planes. Sailors were sailing the great seas, and they were incredibly sleep deprived, malnutritioned, and just drinking bouts of gin, because that's all they had. Rum. Well, it depends. The British soldiers were gin. The Caribbean pirates were rum.
Yes.
And they would see things. They would see these great mermaids.
Yeah.
Right. I believe in mermaids too. They would see mermaids.
They would see the Kraken,
right?
Huge.
Huge whales, Moby Dick, and the lichen, and they would see huge, other things before the flying saucer even came around. To date, we really haven't, we don't have any documented proof of the mermaid. We have pictures, Right. Every child growing up has heard
Yeah.
of a mermaid,
Yeah.
but nobody's actually ever like documented on Twitter.
Yeah.
Politics are becoming more and more divisive every day. My name is Colin Jackson. I'm the co-host of Not Another Political Podcast, where we reject popular opinions and prioritize solutions over partisan dogma. Download Not Another Political Podcast on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast entertainment today.
What did you think of those Pentagon tapes? Because I'll be honest with you, to me, alien stuff is fun to think about. But as a woman of faith, I do believe that we are uniquely created and for a purpose. And so I'm open-minded to other scenarios, but I guess what I'm saying is I don't find it as incredulous as other people do. Like, I was talking to my son about it tonight, and he was like, I think it's really arrogant to assume that we're the only people in the universe. The universe is so huge. And I get that, but I was saying, but as a woman of faith, that's not a contradiction to me, because I believe that we were uniquely created, so we are a miracle. But I look at videos like that Pentagon video where those pilots are clearly reacting to something. There's something in that camera. They don't know what it is. Base doesn't know what it is. It's definitely unidentified and doing crazy things.
Yeah.
It gives me pause. Like, it's something. What did you think that was?
So I think that was somebody that needed early retirement for
Jason.
an issue, and they planted.
I don't want dad jokes. I want to know what Jason really thinks. What do you think it is? What do you think it is?
That was most likely a sister to the mothership that was further away. That was a small UFO that actually made its way off course and was venturing around and was captured on the F-16 video.
Where's the mothership, and why don't we see it?
Further away. So their powers are quite strong, and you could be looking at it. It could be right above us, and you would see right through it. Right? They can bend light. Right? Because if they can move, light speed requires really bending light in physics. So we could be looking at and Terminator kind of showed us that Hollywood is infiltrated with aliens, and they've told us about this.
Some people say Hollywood is infiltrated by the Jews, but you're Jewish. And you're saying it's
aliens.
right?
No,
they're infiltrated by
Jews, many
aliens.
Of which are also
yeah.
aliens.
Okay.
And, for the viewers out there or listeners, there's a way now. What's really fortunate, there's a way to tell if you're living with an alien.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is a plug for 23andMe. You could easily, grab a little the toothbrush or comb, pay $25, sign up for $99.99, and
His wife had to
put a
correct
little
him on the
hair
price.
in the 23andMe sample, send it off, and find out. Because if they're alien, it's not going to come back as human genetics. But what you do...
Well, what if it does?
Well,
but how do you know? Because maybe our genetics are the same.
Well, what you do is, right after you sent that off, you tell the person you're living with that you suspect to be an alien, because it's the only real way to know it, that you, while they were sleeping in the middle of the night, sent off their DNA. If they're really an alien, they're not going to stay around for the 7 days for the results. They're going to steal your car and get the hell out of town. Okay? They're not getting captured.
Do they need...
So if your spouse, loved one, child, family member stays around, there's a good chance they're not alien.
We joke, but I was reading today about different conspiracy theories, and one of the theories, a popular theory, is that aliens already are among us, and they look like us, and they have cloaked themselves. And in fact, I have met several people who have told me quite reasonably and calmly that Obama is a reptilian alien from the planet Xenu. Not Xenu, that's the Scientologist thing. Nibiru.
Okay.
In all seriousness,
nice. Sounds like Aruba.
In all seriousness, so there are people who think like that aliens could already be living with us. Like, what do you think about
Sleeper,
that?
of course. If they're that smart and advanced, right? If there are millionaires ahead of us, they are here, right? They have sleeper cells. They're going to want to know and keep track of what's going on. They basically did what England did to the prisoners. They sent them to Australia, which was the furthest place on Earth.
Yes.
They sent their prisoners here as sleeper cells to blend in.
Yeah.
They're probably made a family. They're not going to be single at a club, right? They're going to make a family. They're going to look like us. They're going to do a 9-to-5 job that they hate.
Wait, are you literally describing every person in our neighborhood right
Yes,
now?
there's a very good chance. And they are reporting back, telecommuting back on our advancements.
Are
And
you
when we-
guys aliens?
No, I'm not an alien.
Yeah. Now, what I wonder about aliens too, and maybe we can get some comments on this. Do they have similar issues as us humans on Earth? Do they have marital issues? So they're far
Do
more
they have
advanced.
marriage?
Yeah.
Do they have
marriage?
gender?
I hope they don't have marriage. I hope that they're more promiscuous.
His wife. Katie.
That is my wife.
You hope they're more promiscuous? That sounds like some kind of projection. The aliens that I've seen don't even have genitals. When people talk about that, that's the other thing. Why do you think people are a lot of times, like pre-Roswell, we don't have a lot of descriptions of aliens, but post-Roswell, it's typically it's either a little green man or what they call tall white, which would be the gray guy with the big buggy eyes.
Yep.
And I have a thing about like what the collective unconsciousness, how there's ideas floating around and we kind of all absorb them. And I think the alien thing, to me, I think is one of them. And that's why people will describe aliens as this sort of caricature, because as human beings, it's just something that's floating around in the energy. But I don't know. It's like, why that? Why doesn't an alien look like Brad Pitt? Or why do the aliens have to be all weird and skinny? And
Yeah, I think Hollywood did that so they stand out, right? And they're kind of scary.
Oh, that's fair.
Right.
Yeah.
Even Coneheads, right? They have this different shape. But
Right,
I also
Coneheads, yes.
think that there's a good chance that there are planets out there. Actually, it's 100%. There are planets out there, not a chance, confidently, that there's dinosaurs. There's probably a planet with just alligators.
What do you think people are seeing when they like I'm sure you looked up some too, right? Like some YouTube alien videos, UFO videos. Some of them are like, this is clearly a drone or this is clearly a missile. But some of them are like freaky. I mean, honestly, when you saw some of those videos, like, what do you think it is that people are seeing? It can't be that 1,000 people are reporting the same thing and they all had the same delusion.
Yeah. No, I think so. For the first time, if we were to go back 30 years ago, we didn't all have videos on a high quality camera in our pocket, an iPhone or a Samsung, right, where we could record these things. So somebody would see something and they would discredit you, and then the government would come in, ruin your credit, and send you to the trailer park where you continue to tell your alien stories. Now they can't hide it, right? And they are getting captured on camera. They're being uploaded instantly before the NSA could steal your phone and your data, and it's out there. And I think it's now that when you have one sighting of a UFO and then 100 different individual reports of it, that's an accurate assessment of it. Like that fact happened.
Yeah.
That was not photoshopped.
What are people seeing though? Because they're obviously seeing something.
Yeah, they're here amongst us. They're hanging out.
You genuinely think that they're seeing like spaceships?
Yes.
You don't think that are they never ours? Are they? Do you ever think that they're ours? Like
when
our
person
military
sees
base?
something, maybe it's an optical illusion, but you have 100 people see the same thing.
Yeah.
That's not an optical illusion, right? You're witnessing with your eyes, and it's as good as real.
But I'm gonna.
Could they be skunk works and the classified military?
Yeah.
Playing games? No.
No.
So.
But let me just stop you right there and play devil's advocate, because were you here when Elon Musk did the first successful SpaceX launch 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And you saw. I mean, I'm looking in Ryan Katie's backyard, and this is
What
the
did you
view
see?
I had. I saw.
Were you in Costco?
Yeah.
The when he launched it, and then it was like,
Yeah.
I have videos on my YouTube channel. If you want to go to Kira Davis, is on there, but it's just like, it did look absolutely alien. Like, if I didn't know that SpaceX was launching, it didn't look like a rocket. It didn't look like a spaceship, did it? It looked like a blue light floating in the sky. It was terrifying if you didn't know what it was. And so that makes me think, like, people who are seeing things like alien saucers or whatever, like, what it could be an experimental craft, because it does look weird.
Yeah. I recall that event because I actually peed a little bit in my pants. I was in the Costco parking lot, and I didn't realize that was a rocket launch.
You didn't?
No, I thought that was an ICBM coming at us.
No way.
It was
my God.
this huge light that was getting closer and closer in the sky. There was clearly rocket. No,
Really?
I thought that was the ICBM.
Everybody,
They
you
were
said
blowing
everybody
up
in the Costco parking lot
the
was
nuclear
losing
power
it.
plant down the street.
Oh, no
and
way.
I thought that was it.
Oh, you
And
guys didn't know?
I had no idea.
That is terrifying.
It was very scary.
Yes.
It was actually it was extremely scary.
And it lit up the whole sky. That was the other crazy
I texted
thing.
my mom, "I love you." She didn't respond. I was like, "Oh, that's great." She
was
didn't even
like,
read it. I was
"Finally,
waiting
the
for the thing,
aliens
like
are here."
the read on the text message. Didn't read it. I figured, okay, well, she get it
Oh
tomorrow.
my gosh! When did you realize that it was a launch?
Like 30 minutes later, when I went to change my pants, and then it was an AP alert came up on my phone, and I was like, a little late.
Yeah.
They should warn people around the. Really, I thought that was the preemptive nuclear launch by
Oh
Russia,
my
and we were
gosh.
done.
So
But
I
that was
guess
exciting,
in light
and
of
thank
how
you, Elon.
crazy that was,
You owe me a pair of pants.
Yeah, he can buy you 10 million pairs of pants. Your pants are on the Perseverance; they're on Mars. You'll have to go get those. But seeing that and how crazy it was and how scared it made you, not knowing what it is, can't you believe that that there are other experimental crafts out there, and when people see them, they're terrified?
Yeah, that is.
Could that be an explanation for a lot of the UFO sightings?
That could be, and then they try to cover it up with it was a weather balloon. You didn't see what you thought you saw.
Right.
No, I do think that's a plausible but unrealistic.
That's unreal. That's unrealistic.
Yeah,
the more realistic one is.
I would like to think that the government, if they were going to test, these stealth aircraft, and these, firstly, if they're so stealth, we shouldn't be able to see it. These aircraft, though, do it like out to sea, where nobody's looking at it. Don't do it over trailer parks. Stop doing that. You're freaking trailer park
why
people
do
out.
they do that? Like, why is Area 51? I mean, I get it; it's in the desert, but it just seems like all the
do it over Canada.
testing
Freak
goes
them
on.
out.
Yeah, it goes on in the places where.
What's Alaska for, right? There's swaths of 10,000 miles where there's nothing. Do it up there.
Maybe
Nobody's
they
looking.
already do, but they just have, I don't know, different. There's nobody there to see it.
Here's my weather. Like, you can't test in Alaska year round.
Right. Okay. So you have weather issues.
The audience is making too much sense today. They're testing in
We don't
different
want
weather
your
and
dumb,
atmospheric environments.
Rational explanations for this.
You know what? That makes sense, but also geometrically and aerodynamically, a circle does not fly. Right? It needs a different propulsion system.
That's what we think. But like you said, these aliens might not even think the same way that we do, or they might not even have marriage. They might multiple romantic partners might actually be good for them.
It's encouraged.
Right. It might
think
be
it's
encouraged in
Strongly
alien.
encouraged. They get
land.
along too.
Do they?
They give them a pill every morning, and everybody gets along, and they're very peaceful.
Is this your vision of alien utopia?
Yeah, it is. It's like going to a sandals vacation. Yeah, everybody, and we look at some of these other planets like Mars. It's rocky, which isn't exciting. We really want a planet to have beautiful, crystal, Caribbean blue seas and villas right over the sea where they live, and that's out there.
Do you think we could? Do you think that now that we've got like eyes on Mars, I'm like
The Scientologists
what
have proved it's out there.
Well, okay. Here's the other thing.
They get
then.
a planet.
This is the other thing. The Scientologists. Not just Scientologists, but all of us, right, who are religious or anything, does the existence of aliens disprove faith, religion?
I don't think so. So I looked into the Jewish perspective. And, if we believe that God is all-encompassing and, has immense and almighty powers, then he can also create other species and other planets.
Yeah.
right? His efforts aren't singled onto Earth.
Okay.
His efforts could be creating the galaxies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I feel like I don't think I would. I read an article by some smarmy New York Times reporter about it, and he was like, well, if we figure out we have aliens, then that for sure means God doesn't exist. But I don't think so. To me, I would have to necessarily, like, I would have to rethink some of the specifics of my faith, you know, like as a Christian, where does Jesus fit into, but where does the cross fit into this? But I don't ever feel like it would shake my faith or make me feel, and there are a lot of people who say that the government covers up evidence of aliens because it would rock the human population, and religion is such a huge part of who we are as a species, that so they have to cover it up and tell us these lies because we'll lose our minds if we know for sure that there's no God.
Oh, certainly. If they came out and said they were aliens, I'm not paying my mortgage tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or any credit card.
Well, that's okay.
Sorry,
yeah.
Visa. I'm done paying. I'm done.
Well, that's actually the first time I've ever thought about, like, I've always wondered, that's always been a hole in the alien conspiracy theorist for me, like, why does the government feel like they need to cover all this up? But I guess what you're saying is, like, you know what? That would be the end of something for me. I would not be paying my bills. I would not be worrying about
work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? There might be something else. If
Forget
they
your
thought,
taxes.
By the way, so let's just say there's astronomers, right? And there are right, they look up into the sky for these asteroids that are about to hit us, or the Armageddon, right? Would they tell us if we were 3 days away from complete annihilation?
Yeah. No.
Highly unlikely.
Yeah.
There would be civil unrest. Nobody would go to work tomorrow. It'd be complete chaos.
True.
And it would be probably the worst 3 days of our lives. So they want us to go into this Armageddon, happy as a clam, as if it was, any other day. And then all of a sudden you see the light and flash, and, that's what I thought Elon Musk's little satellite he was putting up was.
Cracking me up thinking about you looking at that.
They wouldn't tell us
you're about to die.
They would hide it until we're about like 30 minutes before, and then you'll get a nice little text message. Thanks for paying taxes.
What's the advantage of our governments? Like, if they're covering up UFOs, then that has to be like a massive conspiracy theory, like conspiracy between every nation on Earth. That is what bugs me out. Like, I can't imagine every country on Earth making this agreement throughout all of history that we're never going to talk to the public about. What does Katie have to say?
I would say, but how many nations have the technology that we have? So there might only be 5 nations that were all together decided that we're not going to tell the world.
Okay.
There's like maybe 5 nations that have the same
Okay, so really
technology.
it's not really 180 nations. It's like 5 big players and then the rest of the kids on the playground.
There's
All
like
right.
us, Europe, China, Japan that actually have satellites.
Yeah.
India, that has more than a dozen satellites up there that actually knows what's going on. Right.
Right,
And
okay.
We're reading their waves, and we're probably communicating.
Okay.
I actually think we might be part of our federal taxes might actually be paying them off to extorting them to not, or they're extorting us to not attack.
Like paying off the aliens?
Yeah, just to stay away.
What will we pay them with?
Oh, resources.
Do they have money? Resources.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bitcoin. Mark's plugging Bitcoin here. There's a good chance we're paying
Bitcoin.
them
No
off
wonder
to
Elon
stay
Musk
away.
keeps pushing Dogecoin.
Because that's what you do
what
in
we
an inner
pay
city.
the aliens with.
Right? When there's trouble, what do? Hey, stay away. So there's a good chance.
There are a lot of people.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that say that one of the reasons that the government does this slow drip of information, like they're giving us a little bit of Pentagon stuff, they're releasing a little. One of the reasons that they do that is they like alien conspiracy theories because it distracts from what they're really doing, what they might really be doing, or how serious the situation is. So there's some people that think that the government likes it when alien conspiracy theorists get off the rails because it makes everybody look crazy.
Oh, yeah. They always drop this when there's a bigger scandal happening.
Yeah.
Right? This is a wag the dog, bait and switch.
Yeah.
100%. There's something way bigger going on. They're going to distract you with a little bit of information. Ooh, look at this. F-16 saw a UFO.
Yeah.
Right? It's convenient when they decide to tell us the truth.
Do you think that they really are hiding something sinister about aliens. Because I'll tell you what, Jason, this is a true story. I think that the whole thing of the government is I think the government's covering up a lot of testing, or a lot of I think the government has a lot more advanced weapons of war out there than we know. But it's Donald Trump that made me question things, because he was being interviewed last year, and someone asked him if he had seen some of it was when the Pentagon released their video, and someone asked him if he had seen the reports, the classified reports, and he said, well, as president, you do see things, but he said, as president, there are even some things that are very classified, and you don't get to them until the situation arises. And the reporter said, but you've read what you have. And he said, I've read almost all of it. And they said, do you think that do you believe that aliens exist and are visiting Earth? And he said, not particularly, which to me is always a sign of a liar. If somebody says not particularly, they're lying to you. What they mean is yes. So that was I was like, what? I think President Trump is lying.
Yeah, he wasn't allowed to say the truth. He wanted to, and those two words are so unique in a vocabulary, not particularly. It doesn't answer the question one way or the other.
Right.
It actually doesn't even answer the question at all.
Yes.
He could have said no or yes.
Yeah, he could have said
Maybe.
no. He could have said no, absolutely not. That's crazy.
It's not even a
It
phrase.
was not particularly.
I don't know what that means.
No, it means that it's true. And he, I don't know. It really gave me pause. I was like, oh, that's kind of freaky.
Politics are becoming more and more divisive every day. My name is Colin Jackson. I'm the co-host of Not Another Political Podcast, where we reject popular opinions and prioritize solutions over partisan dogma. Download Not Another Political Podcast on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast entertainment today.
I have a theory, and I'm going to ask the audience for your theories on what people are seeing when they report alien sightings. My theory is that that 95% of the sightings that we see are BS, that mostly it can be explained by anything else. It can a drone, a faraway star, drugs. But there is 5% that is legit, cannot be disproven. I think that people are seeing a phenomenon, but I think it's us. I think it's us. We have found the ability to travel through time, I think, in the future. And I think it's us observing ourselves. So it's why we can't ever be consistent about seeing these things, because where we pop in and out, who knows what the mechanics of that are, and why we don't have any contact with these things, because they're technically not supposed to be contacting us. Whereas you would think at some point the aliens would be eager to have some kind of communication outside the trailer park. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's my theory. That's us looking at ourselves. Does anyone else have any theories? Katie, Jason's wife. There's two Katies in this backyard right now, in case you're getting confused why I keep, not every woman is named Katie in this neighborhood, but a lot are. And everybody else is Jason, and that is the true story.
Okay.
There's two Jasons here tonight.
Yeah. So I do like the time travel theory.
Okay.
But while researching today, I read about the WOW, sonar, with the WOW thing, where in the 50s or 60s, they got a signal from thousands of light years away.
Oh,
and
yes.
the guy wrote "wow" next to
right.
it. So it's always been called the WOW signal. And to me, that means there is other planets. They said that every star that we can see in the sky has minimal 1 to 5 planets orbiting it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of Goldilocks planets out there, which means they have the similar stuff to us.
Mm-hmm. What are people seeing when they're seeing
99% of that is hallucinogenic drugs, for sure.
Okay.
Hello. But some of the stuff I read today, there was a Tic Tac thing that, the military stuff is interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Now they said like they've seen more triangle shaped UFOs in 2020 than any other time, but then like the stealth bomber is a triangle.
True.
So like I think we're
But a lot of people say that's alien technology that we back engineered, that we
Nah.
reverse engineered.
no.
Okay.
Maybe they come here and they don't see what they like. There's an interesting theory that 90% of the times that the military is seeing alien stuff, it's around our nuclear energy, nuclear power plant,
Yes,
or
hear that a
nuclear
lot.
armed ships or subs.
That floats around a lot, that it's always centered around, which to me speaks to the fact that, again, it's people, it's us, it's some other country that is monitoring, that has found a way to monitor our weapons of war.
Or we have created a technology here that other planets don't have, and they are intrigued by it. That's my only thought.
Which sounds crazy to me, because if you can travel light years, you can't invent nuclear energy.
Maybe they have different atmospheres. Like maybe they don't have atoms.
Okay.
It's like weird to say that only our atmosphere is the only way you can sustain life. Like, how do they even know that?
Right. You're right. I don't know. Yeah. Do they come in peace? That's the other thing. Yeah. What if, are they peaceful or?
You know, I have a quib with the government if they are doing light travel, and I still get really bad cell phone service in my house. T-Mobile. I only have one bar in my house.
This is how I feel about everything.
And they're so advanced.
Jason, this is literally how I feel about everything. Oh, good night, honey. My husband's going to bed. He's got to go to Puerto Rico in the morning. Bye. But yeah, there are. What was I saying? I just lost my train of thought. Saying goodbye to Mark. Oh, every time, like, we can't even get people vaccinated in California, and we have a man on the moon. You know, like there's a flag on the moon, and we can't get 40 million people vaccinated in 2 or 3 months. It doesn't seem. It like every or when the power goes out here, I'm like, we have a man on the, like, we put a man on the moon. Why can't we keep the power on?
And I think, Kira, to your point, that if we're so advanced, right, and the military is able to do these incredibly scientific and new energy type of aircraft, or it's time travel, that we haven't solved basic problems.
Yeah.
Would be amazing to me. Of the redistribution of resources, that it's going towards these things rather than just helping basic people. That'd be upsetting to me, right?
Yeah.
There's still people living in poverty. There's still people, that don't have, forget cell phone service, don't have internet, or don't have phone or food
heat,
access.
Or
heat.
Right.
Texas is right now, it's incredibly cold and the electricity's out due to a snowstorm.
Right.
Like this isn't even extreme weather phenomenon. But we're flying stealth technology around, and people think it's UFOs. It would just, they're tackling the wrong issues.
Yeah, right? It would be infuriating to know that they have access to this life-changing technology and have kept it under wraps and been calling it weather balloons for decades and decades. Katie, do you have a theory on where aliens come from? Let's see how far this goes.
I think that it would be naive not to think that there is something else out there with how big we are, and to kind of like break it down to think about the fact that we're just so small, like sitting on this ball of what we are, and it's spinning in the middle of nothing, in space. It's kind of like there has to be something else out there. I also feel like with all this talk with like the military has this and all this evidence and whatnot, that if there was so much back when there wasn't, we had access to cameras like you were talking about earlier, and access to being able to film it more often. Like why aren't we seeing more of it now?
Yeah.
Like why isn't there more?
This is my question. Why is it so hard to come by footage
now,
or
when when everybody has a cell phone on them, everyone has the capability of pulling out a phone and videotaping something that's in the sky, and I think that there has been videos of certain things that I've seen online,
But you would think it would, if everybody has a camera in their, like, we don't
Right.
miss a thing nowadays. If a guy
Exactly.
takes off his jacket and gives it to a homeless person, there is somebody with a
Yes.
camera there, and then that video goes viral. Like, people are filming their kids' dumps, you know, and like
Right.
there's like everything's going viral. Katie, I know you've done it.
No, I'm just laughing
Nope.
because nobody filmed my kid's pinata 2 days ago.
Oh, nobody
boy.
filmed it, Jason. Fail. You didn't film the pinata?
Yeah,
Were
he
you
was-
looking up at the sky?
We had some other things looking at. I was worried about my husband who was holding their pinata
Oh.
and the kids smacking it.
I'm just saying, sometimes things don't get filmed because it's too fast.
It happens too quickly. It just seems the sheer number of people on planet Earth with cell phones and access to video at this point, I kind of feel the same way about Bigfoot.
Yes,
Kind of like at this
that too.
point, we should have some clear video. I've
Exactly.
never seen. I don't know if I'm sure you've never seen. I've never seen clear video of like a spaceship, right? But it's always grainy. It's always in the distance. Like I've never seen
Right.
anything like I'm looking at
but
this
I also
fire
think
right
that
here.
What you guys were talking about earlier with how I feel like we've have this image already set in our minds, I think due to how Hollywood's portrayed it in movies and certain things of like how aliens should look and what spaceships should look like. And I mean, maybe it's something that it's amongst us all, and we just have this different image because of what we've already seen in like Hollywood of like what it should be. And so it's like,
Okay.
you know,
Maybe we're
it's-
already seeing aliens and
maybe
alien
it's not
technology.
like this crazy spaceship that we expect
Right.
to see coming out of the sky.
Right.
You know?
I mean, Grimes, what's her name?
Grimes, Elon Musk's girlfriend?
Yeah.
Or it's
she's
just
ki-
Grimes,
she's
yeah.
kind of like alien.
She does look like
She
an alien.
is.
And
She
then
could,
everyone
yeah,
else-
she could be an alien. Okay, that's interesting. All right,
Yeah.
I feel that way. Actually, I heard a sermon at church once that really changed how I look at God, and that was one of the things that the pastor said. A lot of times, people will ask, "Why doesn't God speak directly to people anymore? Why doesn't He like? Why can't I?" The way I'm talking to you guys, like God's just like, "Yo, what? You know, how come? Where's that guy?" But my pastor said it could if you look at God as a creator, someone who's more advanced than us, different than us, like an alien would be, maybe the way God speaks isn't how we speak. Maybe when the wind blows, that's His voice. Maybe when you crunch a leaf on the ground, like that's His voice. We just maybe He's talking to us all the time, but we can't hear Him because we're not speaking the same language.
Right.
So it's very deep, Katie. Other Katie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Noelle, do you have a theory?
I do.
Do you want? Oh, great.
Can I talk in
Yes, of course.
So I 100% believe that
This is Noelle.
Why is that funny?
We've all been drinking, by the way.
I do believe that there is life on other planets, and there's so many planets that we don't know about. I believe since the beginning of time, who knows that even like what we call alien is every church's god.
Right.
You
okay.
know, you don't know. I mean, even from Egyptian time, you look at the hieroglyphics and whatnot,
Right.
and everything is, about what is above, the creator above. And so therefore, and you look at, Native American caves and
We've always
carvings
had a
and-
fascination with the heavens.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, back in, you look at Greek gods and Roman gods and all this and that, and who's to say what's a god, what's an alien, but
Yeah.
the one
That's a
thing
good point.
I do believe in my faith is that whatever there is, God is at the top of it all.
I see.
He is El Jefe. And the only thing I hope is that if one day we come to the time where they want to be known and they want to be among us, or if they are among us, coexist, I hope that they're kind, and I hope that they can cohabit the earth peacefully.
Yeah, what are we
Both
going to
of
do
us.
if they're not friendly?
Well, I think they're 100% probably smarter. I think they're
think
way more intelligent, so we better be careful.
Okay.
If they're showing up here, we're screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're showing up here, we're probably screwed.
Independence Day.
If we show up there,
Right. Yeah, if we show up there, then we can just knock them out of the Bronze Age and take their resources like we should do, because America. What's that? The time travel thing? Oh, you thought the time travel thing was interesting?
What if we're all just the parallel of the other universe?
Right. What if we're just an experiment and we're just being observed right now and the aliens are just looking at us? All right, we're back to Jason, our guest. So, what did you think about some of these theories going around the table here?
They're all accurate. I mean,
all of them are.
Right. And
okay.
I think this is a good little microcosm for the rest of the world. Like, everybody has an idea on aliens.
Yeah.
And has a concept, and everybody at some point has thought about it. Are we the only people? Is there something else out there? Yeah.
So, I guess we should start wrapping this up. So to conclude this, Jason, do you have a fear of, does this keep you up at night? Or do you just feel like...
No, I think we're going to be great friends with these aliens.
Okay. I hope you're right.
I think we're actually going to be friends.
Okay.
I don't think they come, to mine our resources and steal our kidneys.
Okay.
I think instead they might actually solve some of our problems. And I think they are here, and they're trying to learn from us, and we're learning from them. And
even though we don't know them, you think we still have stuff to learn from them, even though they're not really showing
they're
themselves?
Teaching us. They're slowly teaching
It doesn't
us.
feel like a really healthy relationship, though, Jason.
A lot of relationships
feels
aren't.
really one-sided. Yeah, is this alien stuff happening soon?
I think it could be in the next couple of years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a point where there's a point where our technology gets advanced enough where we could actually start to visit them, right, and do massive propulsion and go way further out in the universe. And they're like, okay, we're going to reveal ourselves now, and we're going to show that we're friends because we're already here.
Yeah.
Right. We're about to find them.
Well, if they were going to take us over, they would have.
Okay.
They're about to find. There's not much here. They say resources, but I think it's as best we better cut down all the trees because maybe they want the trees.
Right. And
So cut down
water.
all the fucking
The
trees.
water's like a big thing, I think. Water.
They want the water.
And if you think about
They're
it,
like, let's pollute it so they don't come here.
okay. Well, we're
Let's frack more. The more fracking we do, then they're less likely to steal that water.
So I like it. I like this is an argument for big corporate America, for big
oil.
polluters, for big oil. Okay. Big oil could be the last line of defense against
Chevron,
alien.
send me an email.
All right. Jason, thank you so much for taking the time to discuss your many theories on the idea of aliens. Neighborhood audience, thank you for being our first live audience. You guys are great.
This
Other
is so much
Katie
fun.
and Ryan, thank you for hosting us in your backyard.
This is a delight. I really enjoyed this
I had so much
conversation.
fun.
I've learned a lot. I appreciate it and look forward to the next one.
One of my listeners, I told them I was recording with you guys tonight, and she wants to know what everyone's drinking. That's what she said. What are you drinking, Jason?
Absolutely. I'm drinking tequila with about half a teaspoon of lime juice, 9 ice cubes, and 1 Topo Chico, which is a Mexican club soda.
Okay, Katie, I want you to get the 23andMe DNA test
We
for
already
Jason.
did, both
Because
of us.
is he an alien?
He is not. He is 100%
I don't believe him.
Ashkenazi Jewish.
He's a Jew.
And that's all they gave us. He was so angry because that's all they gave him. And I got like the whole world breakdown.
And he got, okay.
I'm 3% Jewish though. So like our children are extra Jew. So yeah.
Extra Jew. Okay, good. All right. And what are you drinking, Katie?
Tonight I am drinking water that has not been contaminated yet by the aliens.
Okay. Is there fluoride in it?
Not tonight. Just water.
Ryan's not drinking tonight.
I drank tequila mixed with Zinfandel.
Okay, we're classy. We're keeping it classy.
If I was drinking, then I would be drinking a spicy hibiscus margarita.
Ooh,
Yes,
okay.
hibiscus tea with a
If
simple
you-
syrup that I make with jalapenos. And a
Oh,
little bit
Katie.
of the hibiscus tea tequila shaken.
It's a new
delicious.
drink at the shot window for me.
I will.
very
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
That sounds delicious.
We had
All
them
right.
for
We had
Super Bowl Sunday.
Next time we did have them on Super Bowl Sunday. That's right. I don't remember Super Bowl Sunday that much. I think I was a little bit toasty. I'm drinking just red wine and water. I can't get too crazy when I'm recording the podcast because I do have to make sense. That's what you guys pay me the big bucks for. But it was such a pleasure to record with you guys. Jason, thank you so much. I hope you'll come back to the show.
Of course, anytime.
All right, I'm doing a Bigfoot episode. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about Bigfoot. The
We're going to need
dentist.
2 to 3 hours for Bigfoot.
We do need to talk about. We do need to talk about your dentist theory, though. You guys think I'm joking. You guys think I'm joking, but Jason really does have a theory on the uselessness of dentists. So will.
There's going to be a lot of hate mail from the American Dental Association.
We'll go through.
Nervous.
We'll
It's
go
a
through that
powerful
with him.
lobby.
Jason, I'll definitely have you back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
The FCB Radio Network. First class broadcasting worldwide.